A great flood is coming.
The storm cannot be stopped, but it can be survived.
That was Russell Crowe in the new movie Noah, which comes out next month. But the way the White House is now telling it, if we don't go green, this, what you're seeing, is the kind of biblical flood that's in our future. But fear not, President Obama says he has the answer. It's a new government program, and you can't do that without more government spending. Let's get details from Robert Bryce from the Manhattan Institute. Welcome back to the show, Robert. Really another government program, and it's going to do what?
Well, Jerry, this is the latest rhetoric from the Obama administration on climate change. And let me be clear. I have no problem with what the president is saying here in trying to make our infrastructure, make our cities more resilient to weather events. That just makes good sense, right? We've seen cities like London, like Amsterdam, Venice, St. Petersburg build barriers to guard or to help control flood events. Right. And so now the president is saying, well, we're having severe weather in some areas, particularly he was in California last week talking about the drought. What I have a problem, though, is the way the administration continues to conflate these extreme weather events and blaming it on CO2 emissions when there's really no science to support it.
Well, and it's hugely controversial, but I hear what you're saying. Here's what I don't understand. How does spending $1 billion of taxpayer money, my money, your money out there, and what they're going to do is research. Really? I mean, come on. We're not that gullible. We saw what happened to the stimulus program. It started 5 years ago. It wasn't as good as build, right? This economy has not turned around. And now you're going to fix the weather with a government program? You got to be kidding me.
You make a good point, and that's where I have some trouble with how this is being framed, that the president and his science advisor, John Holdren, are saying, well, we need more research. But here's what Holdren said. He said, we're seeing droughts. This is his quote from last week. We're seeing droughts in drought-prone regions becoming more frequent, more severe, and longer. But look at the latest report from the IPCC. I'll quote it to you. It says, quote, there is not enough evidence to suggest more than low confidence in global scale observed trend in drought since the middle of the 20th century. So I guess my problem is just how this is being sold, or rather marketed to Americans by the Obama administration. I think it's misleading, and fundamentally it's just false based on the science.
Robert, even the New York Times says that the drought in California right now is not being caused by global warming. Here's what they say. In fact, the most recent computer projections suggest that as the world warms, California should get wetter, not drier in the winter when the state gets a bulk of its precipitation. That has prompted some of the leading experts to suggest that climate change most likely had little role in causing the drought, despite what the government says, despite what Obama says directly. These things are not connected. What is really going on here, Robert?
I think it's just spin. It's posturing by the Obama administration, trying to play to the green left, the Sierra Club, Greenpeace, Natural Resources Defense Council, as though they're trying to do something significant on CO2 emissions. But the president himself last month in his State of the Union said the U.S. has reduced, and he was right. The U.S. has reduced its CO2 emissions more than any other country on the planet over the last 8 years. So it's just spin. It's more posturing, Jerry, and I find it, it's on the science, it's simply not what they're trying to spin, simply not true.
They're trying to create what they're calling climate hubs. The Department of Agriculture. What? Climate? So, okay, here's my problem with this, and bear with me here, Robert, because I am confounded by this story. The weather is not something that people in Washington can control, in my view. Do you agree?
Well, look, this is again, and who's funding this? The Department of Agriculture. Okay, I get it. Our farmers are gonna have to adapt. Well, we've always been adapting to the climate. What's new? When we had the little ice age, we adapted. This is part of what we do as humans. We seek to be cool when it's hot and warm when it's cold. But the fact that again it's the Department of Agriculture here. Remember, this has been a favorite department for the Obama administration to spread the pork on corn ethanol and other biofuels programs.
Robert, I'm looking for the Solyndra of weather. Who will that company be? We have to wait and see.
We do.
Robert, thanks for coming on. Good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry.
Stay warm.